house, did my research, and I knew where my max number was going to be. So at the time where it was about, I think it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock, people were still bidding, and it was extending, right, for 15 minutes. So what happened was I had to take Jasmine somewhere, and we were actually in Taco Bell, right? Jasmine, remember this?
Yeah.
We were in Taco Bell online, and I'm still on my phone bidding, right, on the property. And then as we got our food is when I won the bid. So it was really, really cool that you could do this kind of virtually anywhere, right? You don't have to be at an auction house, you don't have to be in front of your computer, right? This was literally online at Taco Bell where I won the bid on this house. So it was pretty wild, right? So I won the bid, I paid $81,000 for the house. These auction sites, if you go through an auction site, there's usually they call it a technology fee, but it's similar to a realtor fee where I had to pay 5% on top of that to that site, right? That's how they make their money because the bank gets all of the $81,000. So at the end of the day, the numbers were $86,100 that I actually paid for the house, okay? I figured somewhere around $45,000 in repair work. And when I walked in, this place, the only sheetrock we saved was the ceiling, the cathedral ceiling, and anything above the 8-foot number, 8-foot line, right? So you'll see the spackle on the lower level, but nothing on the upper level. So this we're just gonna, we're gonna clean up and paint, where all the cobwebs are and everything. But there's no leaks in the house. First thing we did was the roof, right, to make sure that it wasn't gonna leak when we started bringing new materials in, okay? But I figured around $45,000 for the job. And then when I started bringing more contractors in, I got a bid for $40,000, so I accepted it, right? And this is what you see so far. For actually, I've only given the guy $20,000 so far. And this is where we are already, okay? So I'm hoping we come in a little bit under that number as well, right? So at the end of the day, Jason, what's up, man? You.
Big Mac!
No, you. What's up?
What up?
Go sign in with my daughter.
I already got it covered.
Well, Jasmine, raise your hand so he knows.
I told her he's
Hey,
here.
Jazz.
Everybody knows Jasmine because anybody who's seen my intro has seen her on the video, right? Where she's banging up the house and she's getting paid for it. Right?
Well, she wanted to hit her brother first.
She went to hit her brother first, right? Which we still beat her up about. Where was I? So, at the end of the day, when I was comping the home, right, running comparables and seeing what I thought the house was going to be worth, we figured somewhere in the neighborhood of $185 when all is said and done. Okay, it's it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. The basement's going to be open and available. When I bought it, as you see, the sheetrock below is all knocked out, all the windows were gone. After I closed, the day after I closed, I came here and I opened the door and I left it open for 2 weeks because it was already gutted, there was already no plumbing, already no electric, right? The boiler was already disconnected, everything was cut. So I figured if they want the appliances, let them come in and take the appliances too, right?
Smart.
I mean, why not?
The little cleaning.
Right? What are they going to do? I already had the insurance. If they burned it to the ground, I was good. So really, how much could they damage me anymore? They could probably only help me, so nobody took anything. But that was the goal, right, to get them out so I don't have to fill the dumpster. So going through it, $185 would be the sale price. I think I'm going to list it for a little bit more. Now that I see how the cabinets are playing out in here and how nice they look, right? The countertop looks really nice. The bathroom is tiled, and the shower area and the floor is dry, so you can walk in. That's fine. And it sounds like they're actually working downstairs. Which I didn't notice.
Yeah, there's somebody here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, that's sheetrock going up. That's fantastic. So we figured about $185, and based on my numbers, I also did so what I learned how to do, let me back up a little bit, I'll give you a quick background. So I'm a mortgage guy, right? I write mortgage loans, okay, for the last 15 years. And I've gotten good at it, and I've gotten to the point where I now run an office and people report to me on mortgage loans. So I always kind of knew the money aspect, and I knew how money worked on the loan side, right? But I never really kind of understood the real estate side. So when I joined Renatus about 1.5 years ago, I got to marry the two together. And I started to understand more of the real estate side coupled with the loan side, right? And I started to understand more that, hey, 10 or 12% on a hard money loan is actually a better deal than getting a 30-year fixed mortgage, right? Because of the amount of time that I'm gonna hold it and how the interest portion plays out. Make sense? So I got a hard money loan on this at 10%. And I was very happy with 10%. That's actually cheap, right? 10% is cheap.
For how long, if you don't mind asking?
The term is 9 months, and then I can extend it out to 12, and then it's a 1-year balloon.
Okay.
If I extend it from 9 to 12, it costs me 1 point, right? Which is 1% of the loan amount, all right? So that would be the worst case scenario. When I do my numbers, I usually put an 8-month carrying cost in my
He's in the basement.
numbers. Yeah. So I put an 8-month carrying cost into my numbers, right? 8 months of property taxes, 8 months of hard money interest, homeowners insurance, utilities, right? Because PSCG is going to turn the lights on hopefully next week, because we have everything rough now. They wouldn't do it previous because it hasn't had electric in over a year. So they told us they wouldn't just turn it on. We had to get the panel in and inspector in, and that's fine, right? So I put all that cost in there, and I figured at the end of the day, if I sell it for 185, between my carrying costs, my purchase costs, my closing costs, everything, we're going to make somewhere around $36,000 in profit on this house, right? So in the real estate world, it's not a huge deal, okay, because there's a lot more money being made on the higher end products. But this is my first one, so I wanted to stay close to home. I live 5 minutes away. Oh, come on in.
Pass and broke.
No, you can pass through again and come back down. It's fine. Yep. So I wanted to stay close to home so I can control it better, right? I didn't want to take too big of a risk on my first one, so I found something that was small enough to handle on my own. And I also, you know, this isn't my only thing, obviously. I'm migrating into this, where this will be my only thing, but right now I work, and I get paid well for what I do. So in my head, even if this was a complete failure, I'd still be okay, right? Because I was able to do the carrying costs, right? But I knew it wasn't going to be a complete failure because of the education that I'm doing in Renatus, right? All the classes that are online, right? Before I closed, I watched the fix and flip class probably 3 times, right? Day 1 and day 2, right? Which is 16 hours on how to fix and flip a home, okay? And I watched the hard money class probably
Quick question
twice.
for you. How are you paying your contractors? Is it per week, per job? Or are you paying them at the end of...
Draws. I have a general contractor that I'm paying him in draws, okay?
So, can you give me more details?
So the contract that I sent out my contractor was for $40,000.
Okay,
Okay, and we worked out installments.
okay.
Okay, so 10,000 here. After this is done, 10,000
Right,
here.
that's
After
what I
this
want
is
to
done,
know.
10,000
Okay.
here. Right. So I literally just come to check yesterday for another 10,000.
Gotcha.
Okay, and the hard money loan that I do, how hard money loans work, is come on in. Yeah, get out of the ring.
I'll grab them.
So how hard money loans work when you're doing construction rehab is it's a repayment type of loan. So you have to understand what you're getting into, right? So I got 80% financing on the purchase price and then 100% financing on the rehab work. Okay, so I borrowed all of the rehab work. How it works is the contractor has to start, so I have to float him the money first. And then the inspector comes in, they see what's done, and then they give me some of that back. Right, so it's a repayment loan. Does that make sense? So I'm kind of ahead of the construction loan. Okay, so when the house finally closes, I'll have more money from the I'll have less of a payoff because I'll probably be ahead of the contractor, if that makes sense, by about $10,000 or so, right? So we did $10,000 draws for the first 3, and then for the last one I'm going to give them 5, and then I'm going to hold back the other 5 until all the inspections pass.
You're coming out of your own pocket and then they reimburse you, right?
Correct, right. So I did the down payment and front money for the contractor, right? So down payment, closing costs, front money, $35,000, right?
Correct.
The front money I don't count as, so it was about $30,000 of basically cash out of pocket. The other $10,000 for the contractor, I don't really count it because it's getting reimbursed as we go. Make sense? Cool. Any questions so
Awesome.
far?
Thanks, man.
You guys good so far? So, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think this is a great project. It's a good little project. We saved all the sheetrock that we could. They cut holes to get all the, like you can see there's a patch here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a patch here already from running wires around. So he's doing the best he can to cut costs and save what he can without sacrificing quality.
Did you have this contractor already, or you had to find one?
I actually went through a couple of them.
You went bidding?
I went
Can
through
you?
a couple of them to find this one.
How'd you do it?
So what happened, listen, everybody does contracting as far as I know, right?
Craigslist.
Well, no, I actually didn't. So I had a bunch of friends, like my landscaper did some work on my house, right? So I asked him to take a look. But he's more sheetrock and spackle and paint, right? He doesn't do plumbing or electric. But he's got plumbing and electric friends. So they came to the house. I gave them the code. And I actually didn't even have to be there. I just gave them the code to get in. So they came to the house. So I started getting individual bids on all the work to be done, right? All those individual bids started adding up more than my repair budget of $45,000 originally. So I started looking around more, and I found one guy who actually does flip homes himself, right? And I invited him down. I'm hoping he comes down. I don't know if he'll make it. But so he does about 8 or 10 homes a year. So he has all the connections, right? So these kitchen cabinets, all these cabinets here was $3,600, right? Which is actually really, really good. And they look beautiful, right? And they were measured, and they came by and they measured. They did a
Custom
they
made,
measured,
right?
Yeah, they custom the countertop, right?
It's also soft close.
And the soft close,
Oh, really?
beautiful wood, right? So between the kitchen, the cabinets, and the countertop and the sink and everything was $5,000, right? From this guy, because he uses this place
Marble.
15 times a year.
Granite, right?
No, it's probably corny.
Okay.
It's corny. There's no marble in his neighborhood.
You look like it. You look like it.
So the other thing, so that brings up a good point, right? The other thing you need to do is understand where you're rehabbing, okay? And understand what the houses in the neighborhood are calling for, right? This is not a luxury home, $1 million home where I'm gonna need Viking appliances or granite or marble countertop, right? This is probably Corian, which is great, cheap product, right? And it's in almost every home around here.
Soft close is already fancy.
And soft close right?
This would be a nice starter home, for somebody.
So this is a nice start home. So what we decided to do was, when you guys go downstairs, so there was another kitchen and a bathroom downstairs. So there was a violation on the property that they were using it as a two-family when it's really zoned as a one-family, right? So that violation is getting cleared up, obviously, as we do the work, because I'm not gonna have a kitchen, so then when the inspector comes in, it's not gonna be an issue, it's gonna be back to a one-family.
How much is that gonna cost you to
inspector?
clean that up?
It's like, you just inspect it, like $600.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the town to come in. Okay, take a look. So the downstairs I'm leaving completely open. And I'm gonna let the people who buy the place use their imagination,
This side.
right?
Okay. Smart.
So the good thing about, because I do mortgages, I also understand what houses need to close, right? So I have a little bit of an advantage, because I understand, hey, if there's a second kitchen in the basement, they're probably gonna make me remove the stove, right? So I'm not gonna put a kitchen in the basement. I'm gonna leave it open, but I'm leaving the two doors. It's gonna be set up for an outside entrance. So if the next buyer wants to come in and make it an apartment, I couldn't care less, right? As long as I get, once the deed transfers, I don't care what they do.
And he has that option, so you didn't screw it up for him. You left that open, right?
What I did
Which is
was,
smart.
and I also left all the plumbing behind the wall. So I didn't rip out any plumbing, I actually have it set up where they can just go in real quick, cut some holes, take the plumbing out, and put a kitchen down there. What I'm gonna do is replace the bathroom down there, right? Because that's included in the budget, so the bathroom's gonna go back, the kitchen is not.
Is there a permit for the bathroom?
For the basement? No. You don't really need a permit. You don't need permits for a lot of stuff, honestly. When it's cosmetic inside, like if I was going up or out, or extensions, or dormers, or if I was expanding living space, that's when you
Right,
need
the
a
square
permit.
footage of the property,
Yeah, but
then you have to get.
I'm not doing anything to the square footage of the property, I'm replacing existing structures. So permits, technically, yeah, but not really. Right, so I don't see the town coming down a dead end block to look for the second to last house to see what's going on, right?
Well, the town told me that because
The
I'm
sewer's
going
already
through
there,
the
so
same
that's-
thing.
I'm sorry?
The town told me the only thing in the house, you don't have to have permits. Anything that's on the property, before you buy it, that's on the survey, you don't need permits for it, you just replace it.
Yeah, if you're just replacing the system.
You don't legally need a permit.
There's an existing bathroom downstairs. Right.
As long as
So
it's on the
according to bathroom,
survey.
You got it, I'm gonna just put a bathroom back.
If it was illegal, what?
So I'm redoing my house, so that's how I know.
If it was illegal,
if what was
The
illegal.
bathroom,
In the basement?
bathroom downstairs. If you
It's
can-
not illegal to have a bathroom in the basement, so it's perfectly fine to have a bathroom in the basement. That was not the illegal part. The illegal part was the kitchen.
Okay.
That furnace you put in, you're reusing it?
No,
You
destroyed, new burner, new electric panel, right, and basically new everything. This is gonna be a brand new home, 30-year warranty on the roof.
You had to rewire also?
Everything.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There was nothing in this house.
They took everything.
All the electric wires were ripped out.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did
And I don't
say
know
that.
how much you get for wires, but they were all ripped out.
Copper, it's
All
tiny.
the copper was ripped out. Everything was taken out of the house.
Crazy.
And they told me that was how lucky I was. My copper wasn't gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I have all my stuff. My electric's on, my water's on, so.
So what we did was we're not using copper, we're using PEX. And you're gonna see, when you go downstairs, you're gonna see red and white tubing, right? So the difference is A, it's a lot cheaper and it's more flexible and there's no soldering, right? So when you do corners with copper, you have to solder the two ends, unless they use a bender, which most people I don't think use it anymore. They just kind of solder everything, and you can get more leaks if the solder's not correct. But with PEX, it's one long tube. It comes in like 500-foot tubes, or I don't know, is it 500 foot? The PEX it's long, right? And then you just crimp it, and you cut it, and you crimp it. So it's a lot quicker job, and it's a lot cheaper job.
It's a solid piece and it's
And
more
a solid
durable.
piece, and it's solid Home Depot and everything. It's kind of the new norm for copper. You know. What else? Any other questions about anything so far? No?
As far as the hard money loan, what did you have to come up with? How much money down? What was the terms on that loan? 20% down? You did
I
2080?
did 20% down because this is my first one.
Okay.
Once you get experienced at it, they let me borrow 90% of the purchase price instead of 80. And I borrowed 100% of the rehab costs.
Okay. And how many points are they charging you?
2 points,
2 points. Okay. And what's the rate?
10%.
10% and 2 points. Okay. So that's 12%.
It's actually not. So this is how hard money works, right? And this is why I like the hard money as opposed to a renovation loan.
Okay.
If I'm looking to sell the house, right? So first of all, renovation loans, when you're doing a renovation loan with a bank, especially an investment renovation loan, it's going to be quite costly, right? As far as the interest rate goes, it's fully amortized. It's a different payment structure than a hard money loan. So if I borrow money at 10%, 10% is the annual number,
Right.
right? And if I sell it in 6 months, effectively, my rate is 5%.
Yep.
Make sense? So I'm much better off doing a hard money loan or an interest-only loan for short term. So if it's
Because
if I
it's
sell it in
simple
6
daily
months-
interest instead
So
of.
if I sell it in 6 months, it's 5% plus the 2. It's only 7% it costs me to do the whole thing. Right? So that's why we're not really interest rate sensitive in Renatus, because we understand how it works, right? So if I have hard money lenders, right? So if you're first one and we don't know you, like listen, the guy, I've been doing mortgage 15 years, the guy knows me for 15 years, so he gave me a break, right? For my first one, right? Your first hard money loan is gonna be 20% down, it's probably gonna be 3 or 4 points and 12 or 13%, right? Or even 14%. But if you can sell it in 6 months, you cut that rate in half and that's your effective rate. Make sense?
Booyah.
Booyah!
Booyah!
Cha-ching.
So Jerry, you had a carrying cost for 8 months, you figured it in.
I figured in 8 months, right? I'm hoping to sell it in
And what
6.
month are you in now?
3.
True.
This is the 3rd month, so after this month, I'm hoping by the end of the month, it's gonna go quick now, right? All the major stuff was done. The boiler's coming in next week, the electric panel's coming in next week, it's already rocked and spackled, the windows are showing up probably the week after. So at this point, it's gonna start going a lot faster, right? So I'm hoping to have it listed, I'm hoping by the end of the month, but maybe the 1st or 2nd week into November.
How many exit strategies do you have?
So if I don't sell it for the number I want, I have a reduced number that I could sell it for and still make money, right? So remember, I'm making about $36,000 at 185.
Correct.
Okay, so on a flip, you wanna kind of cap yourself down to the $20,000 number minimum, right? Because there's some effort going into this, right? So I'm not gonna make less than 20, which means I can reduce it down to like 170 if I had to.
Okay.
Which I don't think I'll get there. But my exit strategy, if it really isn't selling, my carrying costs are about $1,200, $1,300 a month.
Okay.
Okay, and I can get a renter in here, even Section 8 renting, for $1,800 a month.
Okay.
Okay, so my exit strategy is a rental plan.
So
Right.
buy and hold it.
Right. but now I'm not making my money back, right? Now it's monthly instead of all at once, right? So now my next strategy, because I'm not having, you know, $80,000 put back into my account from what I outlaid in my profit, is probably going to be with an equity share partner where I'll find a house, right? I'll do all my research, and then somebody with a retirement account or somebody who has some money would put the money up front, right? And I'll do everything because my contractor's awesome. We'll get everything done, and then we'll do a 50-50 split on the profit. Make sense?
Right.
So that's how you do this with no money and no credit. It's fantastic. How are you?
Knowledge. Little knowledge.
Knowledge is power, man.
Relationships.
Knowledge, relationships. Remember the 4 currencies? Who see my intro? And who see my intro, right?
Everybody
4
realize that?
currencies. Time, money, knowledge, relationships.
Yeah.
Okay? Knowledge and relationships are the biggest key. If you're just walking in, thank you. Jasmine, raise your hand.
Daniel.
Look,
Gotta get
give
you.
Jasmine your name so she can log you in. Alright, that's really all I got. It's a small house. I wish I can actually guide you through it, but I'm not going to because we'd be all in a, you know, we get squished like in a club. Right? So, go nuts, have fun, take a look, and let me know what thoughts you have and any suggestions. If you know anybody looking for a 2-bedroom house, let me know. It's for sale. Right? And I'll pay you a finder's fee, right, instead of paying a realtor. Is that fair? I'll pay 2% to anybody who give me a buy instead of 4% to a realtor. No thanks.
So this is the bathroom. This is the basement. Walls open, electrical out. So it's going to be an open basement for the next person who's going to buy it.
See right behind you that red
That's
tube?
the cut-off garbage burner.
Yep. So this is where hot water and cold water is going to go through. So you'll see the red and you'll see the white ones, the clear ones. Yeah, hot and cold.
How do you spell it? I'm sorry.
PEX, P-E-X.
Well, I'm a realtor.
You're a realtor? I'm sorry, I don't want to insult you guys, but I'd rather keep the money.
No. But I'm getting the wholesale. So how do you? I have about 50. If the banks have, but they're just trying to get into wholesale.
Do you have access to the lenders and have access to, can you get them in contract?
Yeah.
So then let's talk, because I'll buy 15, 20 of them.
Okay.
I have plenty of people, plenty of friends that are looking to do this.
Okay.
Right? And I'll flip, you wholesale, I'll flip.
Okay.
And we'll see.
And that's how partnerships get born.
Yeah, Yuri.
What's going on,
What's
Jason?
up, brother?
What's happening,
How are you,
brother?
my man?
This is Jason.
Yes.
My man. It's me. This is the backyard. This is the deck. Let's get out there. Take a quick peek of what this is over here. So it needs a little work. Brand new fence. Nice. That's nice. This fence needs some work, obviously. Let's get to the front. Is there a staircase over there? No, right? Oh, there is. So this is the front. So this is the front of the house. So, if you guys have any questions, if you wanted to find out a little bit more details on who we are, what type of deals we do, what kind of information you're able to learn, if you're a beginner, if you're just starting in real estate and looking for a community of investors to collaborate with, to learn from, to follow, if you're a seasoned investor and you already have properties and you want to learn how to save more money on taxes, how to structure your entities properly so you can save a lot more money in your taxes, that's another option. And if you're just simply looking for a community to work with, partner up on deals with, help get your deals funded, and just have a community to work with. It's priceless, and just if you have any comments, feel free. I'll try to answer all your comments. And